Hi, my name is Lorraine. I'm Patty's oldest daughter. She's also known as Mom, Grandma Patty, Grandma Great, and Aunt Patty. She was a woman of many talents. Her love language was cooking. She enjoyed being in the kitchen, making anything from fried fish or chicken to homemade candy or bread. She was not afraid to try new recipes, and if something turned out not so good, she learned from that, tweaked the recipe, and tried again. Several times recently, as I've been making new recipes and telling her how they've turned out, she has said to me, cooking is about experimenting and seeing what you like. My personal favorite was her fried chicken. She made it just like our grandma Young did, and it was the best in the world. She tried to teach me time and time again, but I could never make it as good as she did. So I apologize now to my sons and grandchildren that you have missed out. I will promise to try to make it so that you can enjoy it also. But I'm afraid, for my line of the family at least, the recipe is lost forever. Mom and I learned to knit and crochet at the same time. She learned because I wanted to learn, and I kept asking her questions. She didn't know the answers when I asked, so she found out the answers and totally enjoyed making anything out of yarn. She could look at something that had been knitted or crocheted and write out the pattern for it. She made sweaters, afghans, hats, pot holders, and dishcloths. You name it, she made it. We could, I would guess that 90% of you here today have received something that she's made. I even have a bag of hats that she crocheted that are waiting for me to give to my friends in Africa next year. Mom had a gift for hospitality. She loved people. She understood the importance of relationships. The women would gather around the table, cooking the meal and chatting. After the meal, the games would come out. Yahtzee, cards, dominoes, or some other game. Everyone there was invited to play. Mom was famous for how she could win games. She would tap the top of the deck or blow on the dice. And sure enough, she would get the card or roll the dice that she was looking for. My sons learned to play zilch as soon as they could hold a dice in their hand. She would hold them on her lap and let them roll the dice. My family thinks that I have the same talent and gang up on me so that I can't win. She had a multitude of friends and enjoyed having lunch with them or cooking for them in her home. People were always welcome around her table. Would you like coffee, tea, or Kool-Aid? She would say. Just water? No problem. When we would come out to visit, she would send us to the grocery store with a blank check and say, buy whatever you want. We had to sneak our own money in so that we could pay for something because she wouldn't let us pay for anything. While Troy was still at home, Mom started selling Avon. She loved the job because she was such a people person. She had a three-wheel bike that she would ride around town doing her deliveries. Some of the cousins remember playing with her samples when they were children. Mom didn't mind at all. It was only recently that I got rid of some of the samples she had given me. I still have some Skin So Soft that she gave me. After the four of us kids were out of the house, she decided to get a job. She tried a few before she finally found her calling working with the clients at Crossroads, a work center for differently enabled people. She saw the skills that each client had and encouraged them to use the talents that they did have, not making exceptions for them because of their disabilities. Each client was special to her, and she would cheer them on to success as they learned their new skills. Our mom had cancer when I was 9 years old. At that time, the doctors told my dad and our grandparents that she would not survive, but they chose not to tell her. She spent 2 months in the hospital, and when she came out, she had to learn to walk and to write again. Whatever she set her mind to do, she was determined to do it. She was determined to learn to walk and determined to learn to write. I count her survival among the miracles that our family has received. There was never a recurrence of the cancer. I am so thankful for the more than 50 additional years that God gave her. It was during this time that even though I was just 9, I was her right-hand girl. I did many things to help her because she was unable to do them herself. She would often tell others the story of how one time she called me from doing a task for her, and I responded, "Yes, Mama, what do you need?" She would always continue the story by saying, "I looked at her and she looked so grown up. I said, nothing, go out and play." The last time that Tom and I were visiting her, I told her that if she wanted us to, Tom and I would stay and take care of her so she wouldn't have to be in the nursing home. She looked at me and said, "Lorraine." And then she told me the story about telling me to go out to play. She looked at me and said, "God has made you to do what you are doing. I want you to go out and play." It was only then that I understood the significance of this story to her. She knew the skills and talents that each of her children had and encouraged, even insisted, that we do what God had made us to do. To her children and grandchildren, I am sure that it would make her proud for you to use your God-given talents to go out and play. When you are doing what God has made you to do, it gives you joy and comes naturally to you. It feels as though you are playing because you enjoy doing it so much. So use your talents, be it writing, electronics, acting, cooking, woodworking, telling people about Jesus, or something else. Use it to the glory of God. Mom's final talent was dying. She faced it with the same determination that she had faced the other challenges in her life. She looked at me and said, "I want to go home. Let me go home." Mom knew that Earth was not her home. She was just passing through. She understood that to get to heaven, she had to die on Earth. The time of her departure has come. She has fought the good fight. She has finished the race. She has kept the faith. She knew there was a crown of righteousness waiting for her, and she was ready to see Jesus Christ, her Savior and friend. Mom, you have loved us well. You have allowed each of us to go out and play. Each one of us knows we are loved and cherished by you for our own unique gifts and talents. I want you to know that the words of the children's book, "Love You Forever" by Robert Munsch are true. I'll love you forever. I'll love you for always. As long as I'm living, my mama, you'll be. I love you, Mama. I'll see you soon. But right now, I'm going to obey you and go out and play.